Do you want to know the secret to getting it all done each day, every day? Don't we all? Welcome to Lean for Life. No, welcome to Strong for Life live. It is Tuesday, the 27th of June, and it's 2 in the afternoon. Let's do some announcements first. I started off saying Lean for Life because the Lean for Life 2023 Winter Weight Loss Challenge, winter if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, has kicked off. So we are in the process of setting everyone up with their personal programs and their custom nutrition and getting them set up with their coaches this week. And so it's a week of figuring things out for that team. And then on Monday next week, we start the official 8 weeks dedicated to their personal goals. Prizes to be given out for weight loss. It's going to be fun. It's a good group of people. It's a really diverse group of people from all over the place and a lot of interesting stories. So I'm really looking forward to how it plays out. Learn more about them, hear about their day-to-days, and help them get more out of those day-to-days. Let me think here. Any other announcements? So in the Become Strong for Life Facebook group, where all the action happens, there has been some recent discount codes dropped for activewear. And as a fellow gym junkie and active person, activewear is expensive. So if you are keen on getting some good deals, check those out. I think they were dropped at the end of last week in there by Beck, which is always nice. If you got stuff you want to share with the group, discount codes and stuff, remember you get discounts on a number of products as well. We've got discounts on the Angles 90 home gym setup stuff, the pulley systems and handles. So let me know if you don't have that discount code. We've got a discount on black belt protein supplements and moss and blood supplements. So if you're in Australia, go for black belt, and if you're in the US and Canada, the moss and blood line is quite good too and ships out of there. So we have lots of discount codes for folks in the community. And if you got some things to share, always feel free to throw it in there. Now, we're getting closer and closer to that next big landmark of membership in the group. Remember, this is it's a free group. This is where we are coming together to share our stories, share resources, tips and tricks to help each other out in our respective health and fitness journeys. No obligations here. It's all about getting free stuff. Which reminds me, once we hit that next big landmark on membership, I was thinking I'd give away some training programs. So I've got some good programs for training at home and people who want to do their first strength cycles in the gym. So I'm going to give those away. When we hit that 300 landmark, there will be free programs given away. So stay tuned, invite your friends, and let's get there quick so I can hand those out. Now, the topic this week. The topic is all about how in the world can you get everything done? And the answer is you can't. Okay, podcast done. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. I'm just kidding. So it was all about sharing your top tips for balancing work, family, and maintaining your fitness goals. And this is another one of those great conversations we've had. A lot of people had some really good feedback and some tips. And I always like to take that stuff on board. I don't have all the answers. I've got like 10 to 15 answers. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on the topic. Don't have all the answers. So it's always good to hear other perspectives and other ideas. So let's go through some of that stuff, because really, we all need those secrets. Now, tips for balance. Man, it's hard. Most of you out there are parents or busy professionals, people who either run your own business, or a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of just busy people with busy careers, and finding that balance, making that balance, finding it. That's not the right word. You can't find the balance. You have to make the balance. You can't find the balance. You have to make it. You have to find your priorities and move everything else around that, because we do so many things each day that aren't priorities. You're just wasting your time. If you're doing things that are not important to you and have no bearing on your existence, and then you have difficulties making the time for things that are actually important, you're wasting your time. You gotta change that. So let's look at how people do this. Gemma, who is a coach with Regular Jane Fitness out of Hobart, she says the 7 P's to life. All right, here we go. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. That's it. Understand what you need to get done. Plan ahead. It's like food prep. It's like having a program for your training. You need to know what you're doing each day before the day starts. My planning is pretty simple. I do it at night, before I go to bed or after dinner, sometime in the evening, and I have a whiteboard. You can't really see it. I have a whiteboard. I actually have a bunch of whiteboards, and I have notepads, and I'm always writing things down. And at some point in the evening, I will go, okay, I'm finally going to stop working, but what do I have to get done tomorrow? When I plan that out the night before, I write down, and I go, all right, these are the people I need to follow up with. These are the programs I need to write. These are the exercises I need to film. These are the admin tasks I have to get done. I go through and I list down all the things that I need to do. And I have 2 lists that I keep on my whiteboard. My today list, things that must be done today, and my tomorrow list, things that could go off until tomorrow. If I can get them done, great. The thing is, my tomorrow list is really just things that need to be done eventually. Not even necessarily tomorrow, but they're not the priorities. They're like second and third string priorities. They got to get done someday. So I always put on my tomorrow list things that aren't of utmost importance, and I put on my today list the things that have to get done before I write my list again at night, before I go to sleep. So the 7 P's, prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance, is correct. You have to plan, and this is the biggest issue when it comes to most people's fitness goals, is planning food. Planning food needs to be done unless you have really good systems, and that's the big thing we're putting together for the Lean for Life challenge. Is we have an extensive recipe book and plan for people along with their nutrition plan, and that takes the planning out of their hands so they know exactly what they have to do without putting in any effort in figuring it out. And that's great. A lot of people were talking about calendar systems. I'm big on calendars. Calendars and lists. If it's not in the calendar, it doesn't exist. If it's not on a list, it doesn't exist. Because if it's important, I will have written it down or put it in the calendar. Everything else is probably not going to get done. So making sure you're on track with your schedules and your routines and planning in advance. And if you have a busy job, if you have a dozen children or less or more, you have to plan in advance. You can't just wing every day. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get ahead on your weight loss or your muscle gain or your fitness. You're not going to get ahead on getting the right groceries so you don't just have snacks in the pantry that you're going to feel bad about after you eat. Put the planning in. And so when it comes to balancing work, family, maintaining fitness goals, all that stuff, you have to understand what's most important. And I work with people in the real world. Like I'm not working with people in isolation in a metabolic ward where they get to eat exactly what I say and they do exactly what I say when it comes to exercise and they don't have any responsibilities. That's not the real life. And I have this conversation almost every day where someone's like, I went on vacation and there was basically nothing on my meal plan to eat. It's like, okay, well, what'd you do? Well, I went to the grocery store and I got some deli meats or I got a chicken and I focused on getting my protein in and walking a lot. Perfect. That's your contingency. That's your plan when you're not in your daily life. Or if you are in your daily life. A bunch of people have sick kids right now. It's winter in Australia. A bunch of people have sick kids and they're like, oh my God, everything got thrown out. I had to push my workout to tomorrow. So yeah, so that's fine. Your priority is your kid. Your priority is making ends meet. Your priority is looking after your family or your job. And you need health. Because your health is everything. Health is wealth. If you don't have your health, you got nothing. and you need that to support everything else you do. But you can maintain that well without it being something you do to perfection every day. So understanding your priorities, planning accordingly, and having a backup plan. Oh my God, I didn't pack my lunch. Okay, well, where do you live? Are you going to work in a city? Cool. Go get some sushi. Go get a sandwich with double the meat. Go and buy some chicken from the shop and get a salad. That's what I used to do when I worked in a gym. Just get a whole roast chicken from the shop and a bag of salad mix and some dressing every day. Chicken salad. Easy. It's like 3 meals for like $25. So have plans, have contingencies, and know what your priorities are. And when I do check-ins with my clients every week, one of the questions is, well, there's a question about what do you find challenging this week? What was your biggest challenge? And then what are you going to do better this week? And so people set an intention. What am I going to do better this week? And it's usually something like, I need to dial in my food. I need to prep. I need to plan better. Maybe I need to prioritize my workouts because I keep letting other things get in the way. It all comes to planning. So if you want to try and manage as much of everything as possible, know your priorities, plan accordingly, and have a backup plan. There you go. The three tips you must know to succeed at all things in life. That'll be my clickbait headline. Cool. Let's see if there's any other nuggets of wisdom. When it comes to planning, having a system for recording it is great. I'm a Google Calendar guy. I've been using it for everything for years and years and years. Until you master the routines, even then, put it in the calendar. I did have an answer on this poll from my grandpa, and he says his answer is to listen to Coach Josh. So maybe he's onto something. Thanks, Grandpa. Excellent. Well, that was the big topic I wanted to talk about this week. Maybe we'll have a nice short podcast, and then we'll get lots of questions to follow up in the group. So things to think about this week. What day is it? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Plan for your weekend grocery shopping or whenever you do that. Figure out what you need next week and then shop accordingly. And that'll set you up so much better for next week. If you don't know what gym sessions or training you're going to be doing next week, write that down today. Write down your meal plan. Write down your gym sessions today. And then to get on top of tomorrow, write out your plan for tomorrow. And get into that habit. Make planning a habit. Understand what you have to do and how you're going to make it happen in advance so you don't wake up stressed trying to figure out what you're supposed to do because then you don't get where you want to go. Cool. So stay tuned. There's going to be probably some announcements and progress and stories coming out of the Lane for Life Challenge. If you missed out this time, I know there was a few applications that came in late. Unfortunately, those things happen. Stay tuned. There will be another one in the future. Not going to say when, but I've got some ideas for another challenge because it's one of those things that helps us stay focused. It's having camaraderie and competition and something to work for on a short timeline. And so almost all my clients, even if they're not in the challenge, are working towards a set goal over the next 8 weeks, starting from next Monday. Maybe you want to do that too. If you got a goal that you want to work towards for 8 weeks, let us know. And we'll keep you accountable in the group. How about that? It's always a good idea. But in the meantime, thanks for tuning in. If you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, you can always get a hold of me here through the Become Strong for Life Facebook group, or on Facebook as Coach Josh Wood, or on Instagram, Coach Josh Wood, or through the coach page, Strong for Life Online Coaching on Instagram. And then you can get a hold of any of the coaches that we have there. And as always, in the meantime, keep your questions coming. Let us know how you're doing out there. If you need help, accountability, resources, you got any questions, keep them coming in the group. Always happy to help me and the coaching team. And until next week, just keep becoming strong for life. We'll see you then.